But still, there would be an intelligent slave race. It would just be an animal-human hybrid slave race. And the question of slavery and servant races or servant species is reflected very frequently in popular culture and in written science fiction. The film Blade Runner, classic, of course, about a group of four enslaved robots or synthetic beings who do not have human rights and who are about to meet their expiry date and who try to track down their maker so that they can survive. Very poignant meditation on that particular dilemma. But we see this often in the questions of at what point does a robot become too intelligent to be a servant race and so forth. Next slide. Wireheading and brain pacemakers. There aren't a lot of pieces of fiction that have looked at the influence of wireheading, but the article, Electronic Self-Stimulation of the Brain in Man, which was published back in 1963 when people first started to put electrodes into people's brains and see what happened, and then discovered that they could short circuit some epileptic fits with deep brain stimulation, which is now a fairly common implant. That did inspire Michael Crichton's book in 1972 called The Terminal Man, in which a man has this device, has a deep brain stimulation device, and he gets addicted to it, and it drives him insane and makes him a homicidal maniac. And that was Michael Crichton's an example of the common weakness of these technological tropes. It's like, oh, let's invent organ transplantation, except that if you get an organ from a murderer, you become a murderer yourself. So these kinds of terrible tropes are fairly common as well. Sleeper is one of my favorite examples of thinking about the influence of wireheading, because they had the orb and the orgasmatron, which were devices that just gave you orgasms, made you happy, and became, of course, as addictive as other devices.